Hi everyone, this is Wilson here. Welcome to another video. So I'm doing something slightly different today. So this is the first of my tech reviews. So I've been given a new phone to trial. So this is a Motorola EDGE 50 Pro. I'm currently using the EDGE 40 from last year's model. That's obsolete now, so I'm going to trial this one. So the EDGE 50 Pro sits in the mid-range sector. So the EDGE 50 will consist of three within the range. So the bottom of the range of the EDGE 50 is the EDGE 50 Fusion. I've got the mid-range 50 Pro, and there's also the highest spec one, which is the 50 Ultra, which has apparently a better processor, higher spec processor, and a higher spec camera. But even though this is a mid-range phone, it's still classed as an upper mid-range, so it's kind of like the top of the mid-range sector. When you look at the press reviews. So what have I been given? So this one is a 512 gigabyte storage model with 12 gig of RAM, which is expandable using the RAM boost function of the Motorola. It's got 5G capability and 3 cameras. So let's open her up and I'll show you the inside of the box. So within the box, you have the phone itself. Accessory-wise, so it includes the USB-C cable, super fast charger. Now this is the first in the world. So apparently from the press release, this phone supports super fast 125 watt charging. It can charge the phone from flat to 100% in 20 minutes. Now, no other manufacturers or phones beats this. Apparently this is a first, so that's quite a bonus to have. So what else is included? So in this box here, if I can kind of get it out. So I believe this is the case that comes with the free case that comes with the phone, and a SIM remover as well. So this one is a transparent back case, which clips, I believe it clips on the back of the phone. But I'll be buying a new case anyway, a proper case to support it, but that'll get me by for now. Yeah, so what are the specs on this phone? So let me just quickly run through it for my list. So it's got a Snapdragon 7 Generation 3 processor. Like I said, Snapdragon 8 is already out in the field. So this is probably the last year or the year before processor, but it's still a capable processor. 12 gig of RAM, like I mentioned earlier, 512 gigabyte of storage. Be running Android 14, which is I think they provide 3 years of updates apparently minimum. Like I mentioned, 125 watt start charger. It's got fingerprint recognition down here, and it's IP68 rated, so it's waterproof up to a certain point. So that's a bonus for anyone using it outside in an outdoor environment. The screen-wise, it's a 6.7 inch POLED screen. The resolution is 1220p, so it's slightly higher than the than the current EDGE 40 that I have. It has a 144 Hertz capable refresh rate, so that's quite a good feature if you're into gaming. The brightness level on this phone is 2000 nits. So the current phone that I have, the EDGE 40, is only capable up to 1200 nits. So hopefully this will be super bright during the outdoor environment. Battery-wise, it's got a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, so slightly bigger than the EDGE 40 that I currently have. Camera-wise, I'll show you the back. So it's got 3 cameras and a flash and a sensor as well. So the main camera is a 50 megapixel main camera. You also have the telephoto lens as well, the 10 meg telephoto lens, which has a 3 times optical zoom. Then you've got the third camera, which is the ultra wide / macro camera. The Edge 40 only had two cameras, so this one's got a bonus with the optical zoom as well, so that's an added bonus. The front camera here, single front camera, is a 50 megapixel front camera. So obviously 4K capability, same as the previous Edge 40. It also has a bonus feature, HDR10 Plus. So anyone not familiar, HDR10 Plus enhances the contrast ratio, the brightness contrast ratio, when watching any movies that supports that format. So Netflix, YouTube, etc. So yeah, so that's a good added bonus. Mic wise, it has two mics. I believe it's there and there, I believe. So a dual mic for stereo recording. Stereo speakers on either end of it as well. Yeah, and SIM capability wise, dual SIM, same as the Edge 40, so a physical SIM and the eSIM. So the phone itself is quite nice to hold because it's got a kind of like a rubbery type back case, so it's quite grippy. It's not a glass one like some models have where it just slips out your hand. So this one is actually, when you hold it in your hand, it's really grippy. So that'll be handy, you know, for avoiding, you know, from dropping the phone. That's if you don't use the case. But obviously if you use the case, you know, normally cases are rubber anyway, so it's not a problem. It's got a nice bezel I like about this phone. So the outside bezel that runs all the way the perimeter of the phone is a nice smooth aluminium. So it's quite a good design. The screen wise, it brings forward from the Edge 40, carries on from the Edge 40 tradition. So you've got the like the curved edges on the screen. They're quite subtle. They're not like a massive curve. It's only a subtle curve. I know a lot of phones now are sort of going out of fashion now, and they're going back to, you know, flat screens. But Motorola still employs the curved screen. Right. So I'm going to give it a charge, power it up, and then proceed to setting it up. So I've got to get to transfer all my apps, etc., all my data from my old Edge 40 to the new phone. And I also need to get the eSIM transferred over. So I'll get that sorted, use it for a couple of days, and I'll come back to you with a full review of how I feel about the phone. Cheers. Hi, so I've just come back from using the phone for about a week or so. One thing I did notice, the phone, it's not massively bigger than the Edge 40. It's slightly wider, the screen, but the lengthwise is similar. So I noticed a little bit more chunkiness, but it's fine. It's still nice to hold in your hand. I've got a case on it at the moment, so it looks bigger than what it should do with the case off. But yeah, so my weekly use of it. So what did I find? As an improvement over the Edge 40. First of all, what I noticed is the screen it's actually a lot brighter. So I've got it at half brightness at the moment, but I'll stick it on maximum. So the screen is definitely a lot brighter in the sunlight. It's noticeable. The colours are really, very vibrant. So the reds especially, it's so nice to look at. So the colour capture, the colour presentation, not just red but any colour, is quite vibrant, and it's quite a good screen to look at and read. It doesn't cause you any fatigue at all whatsoever. So that's what I really like about the screen. The processor, obviously it's got a better processor than the Edge 40. It's got the Snapdragon 7 Generation 3. It's snappy. It's good to use. There's no real lag in day-to-day use. Everything kind of loads, pretty quickly, as you can see. You can see everything's quite instant. So I'm happy with it. So it's obviously got a little bit more RAM than the Edge 40. This one has, I should show you. Go to the phone settings, device storage. So this one's got obviously 12 gig of RAM by default, but it's expandable using the RAM boost feature. Now the RAM boost feature is quite handy. You could boost the RAM by using the internal storage up to, I think it's up to 16 gig. So at the moment it's set to 12 plus 4, which is more than enough. I mean, the old Edge 40 only had like 8 gig RAM, but this one's definitely, more than enough, for my daily usage. So yeah, it's snappy. Videos are good. I'll show you. So just play a video. Skip the ad. So if I put it in landscape mode, yeah, so very good quality video. Put it on the maximum resolution available. Yeah, very vibrant. The sound quality, very good. Stereo speakers. If I turn up the speakers, you can hear it.
Right here, right now. Norway has always been a very eco-focused country.
So good sound quality actually. For a phone, it's got a good range of ability on the speaker. The highs are good. Mid-range the mid-range is really bright. Obviously, bass, you don't expect to be heavy bass on the phone, but it's actually reasonably listenable. I find it quite pleasant to listen to. So yeah, so I don't have no complaints with videos. It supports HDR10. So any platform that supports that, you can watch HDR10 videos, for the better contrast ratios. So what else do I like about it? So obviously on this phone, I'm running quite a lot of apps. I have I use it for personal and work. So I actually have a dual partition set up at the moment, a work and a personal partition. So all my work apps are under there. So you can see how many apps I've got, my personal apps. I have no problems with it whatsoever. With dual partition, it runs a dream. So if I click on one of my work apps, so if I launch, I don't know, let's launch an app, a work app, one of these. So obviously it takes me to my, my company intranet page. So yeah, look, loads really well, no issues whatsoever. And I can switch back to my personal one, without any issues, and it will run, a dream basically, no issues at all. Yeah, so in terms of usage, everyday usage, no real lag. I'm happy with that. So we talked about the charger. So I've used this charger once just to test it out, how quick it was. So if you remember what I said, this is a 125 watt super fast charger. It's one of the fastest it is the fastest charger on the market for any phone currently available. So I have used it the other day when my phone was quite low, about 10%, and it's really impressive. I plugged it in. Within 15 minutes, I was at 90%. So that is super impressive. I mean, it did get a bit hot, the phone, while charging it on that rate. So I probably won't tend to use this fast charger that regularly unless I have to, because obviously we all know batteries don't like to be charged, at a high rate of charge for long term. So I'll probably stick to a standard charger unless I really need to. So in terms of the camera, so like I mentioned before, it's got 3 cameras. You've got the 50 meg, you've got the 10 meg optical, and with a 3 times zoom, optical zoom, and then you've got the wide camera lens and macro mode, telephoto, and obviously a 50 meg front camera as well. What I like about the camera, so if you say filming a video, what I like about it, you could hold down the zoom button and you get this zoom little scroll bar when you move a finger up and down. I quite like that. So up to 3 times optical zoom, so up to 3 times now, that's optical zoom, and then anything beyond that will be put it back on video. So anything beyond 3 times is obviously digital zoom, but I have tested it on a photo today. I'll just show you. Get some photos up. So I've took some photos earlier. So this one was at 1 time zoom, so no zoom whatsoever. This one was at 3 times zoom. yeah, the quality is great when you zoom in. There's no blurriness whatsoever. And then the next one I took, I think I zoomed in to about 8 times zoom. And you can see, even with 8 times zoom, so it's 3 times optical and 5 times digital, you can zoom in, you can still read a number plate. So I'm quite impressed. You know, you can read the number plate from that distance. So if I put back to the original 1 time zoom, you can see how far that is. So impressive camera, I like that. The video quality, the video recording, you know, like I said, I've done a few video recordings. You got 4K, you've got stability control, and you also have the ability to record at 30 or 60 frames per second. And it also has HDR function as well. One thing is, if you have it in HDR function, it only records at 30 frames per second, so that's a limitation. But you can have the HDR high contrast ratio mode, and instantly the quality is a lot brighter and a lot more contrast to your videos and photos. So that's 4K. I normally leave it on full HD, which is more than enough. Photos, like I said, lots of settings to play with, lots of options. You can enhance the quality of the camera. But there's more functions that I don't really need. You also have, you know, the standard slow motion mode, video, photo, portrait. You also have a pro mode if you like to play around with these settings, you know, to optimize the camera settings. You have more options, and there's loads of other modes you can play with. You've got panorama, photo booth, long exposure, spot color, ultra res, you name it, it's got it. So it's quite a, you know, for a mid-range phone, so this is classed as an upper mid-range phone. For a mid-range phone, I think it's pretty good. It's right there on the top. And the price is obviously quite attractive. So this is a pro model, like I said. You've got the Ultra as well, which is even better, even has a better spec. But obviously, I think the price rise is a massive jump from a pro. So as a mid-range phone, I think it's a good compromise. It's definitely an upgrade to the 40. So let's talk about the negatives of this phone. I don't have that many negatives, to be honest. So first of all, we'll talk about the screen. So like my previous Edge 40, this also has the curvature on the edge of the screen, on the left and the right side of the screen, not so much on the top. What I found, and I had this issue on the Edge 40 as well, is when you're typing, say an email or something, or you've got an icon right on the edge of the screen, it's sometimes difficult to press it because of the curvature, because the curves downwards. You have to sort of, you know, run your finger along the edge to actually press the button sometimes, or when you're typing, you can't hit the alphabet or the number correctly. So that's the major concern I find on these. If you're typing in the middle, it's not a problem. I know I can see why Motorola's gone for a curved screen, you know, for their unique design, but practically it sometimes impedes you when you're trying to use it in practical sense. You know, hopefully Motorola sees that and goes back to the traditional flat screen in the future. But other than that, the screen's beautiful. It's you know, I love the screen. It's definitely a top screen on a mid-range phone. So I have no issues with that whatsoever in terms of, you know, the vibrancy and the color and everything. The other thing which I've read online, which can be a disadvantage, is the OS support, software updates. So apparently Motorola only providing 3 OS updates over 3 years, which is a little bit less than other manufacturers provide. Probably not an issue for me because I tend to get an upgrade phone every 2, maybe 3 years at the max. So it doesn't bother me in that sense. But if you like to keep your phone long term, then maybe an issue, you know, of it going out of date, or with the security updates, etc. But apart from that, I don't have any real critique of it on any other aspects of it. I do like the phone. I think the advantages outweighs the disadvantages of this phone. So is it worth buying? If you already have the 40, like I said, and you want a better camera, and you want a better processor, then yes. But for everyday use, if you're not gaming or anything, I don't think you notice anything massively different, because the 40 was quite slick anyway. I don't play games on this. I use it for work and personal, WhatsApp, photos, videos, etc., and I don't notice a massive difference. Obviously, if you were to benchmark it, then you'll probably see an improvement with the 50. But for the everyday use, I think both phones you'll be happy with. But if you're into gaming or videoing, HDR videos, then obviously this one is the phone to get. So that's my personal review on this phone. I hope you enjoyed that. So if I have any of these sort of reviews in the future, I'll do more of these videos. If you do like these videos, please remember to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Cheers.